Dire team pick.
Disruptor.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I'm coming out. Want the world to know.
Radiant team pick.
Trient Protector.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team banned.
Terror Blade.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Impossible.
Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Slog.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Choose your hero.
A bold move, to be sure. Want good predictee? Come to my Facebook page and search Templar D. Can you imagine if I gave that guy a shout out? How ecstatic he would be. So much power.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Shatari. Shatari. Well, we are not bias casters here. I just want a good game of Dota, and everybody wants to see a game 3, right, Avery?
Depends who you want to win or may or may not have, but there's no repo in this game, so you definitely got a better chance of going to game 3 than
Prepare for
your
battle.
out draft. This
Jack,
draft is
you want a
lot closer.
drinking game? Take a shot every single time a caster in a, especially a LAN event, says, "Well, we just want to see a game 3." Take a shot. Caster says, including myself.
Okay, guys, that was
Be
Classic
wasted by the second day.
You're all washed up.
All right, Avery, there was some drafting turns, let's say, that I don't think that you were entirely comfortable with. I don't think you were super happy with either one of these last picks. Am I wrong?
I thought we were going to see Timbersaw come out. So I thought Timber looked pretty good for Execration if they were playing Carry Furion. Because they were banning like they were going to play Carry Furion. They banned Primal Dawnbreaker, which, I mean, it's also for Slark too, but I was like, oh, they're going to play Carry
30
Furion.
seconds to
And then you get an
battle.
offlaner like Timber, where I don't think Blacklist have the damage for him, and he just destroys TB. I thought that looked pretty nice. And then when they didn't take it, I thought Blacklist were going to take it, because I also feel like Execration lacked little damage to that hero. For me, that's kind of the story of these drafts. I feel like both of them have some damage problems, but then I guess if you're in a game where you both have some damage problems, you don't have damage problems. Well,
Okay,
then it just evens out.
I think surely there's got to be one Harry that
The battle
does better when it comes to a lack of damage on the other team.
I think Slark for sure. Like generally Slark thrives in low damage environments because he just builds the stacks. And if you're not killing him, he eventually will kill you. The thing is, they have Elder Titan, which means like kind of the wild cards.
Step lively now.
How much does Elder Titan do in the later fights? Because this hero can destroy Slark. Absolutely destroy him. It's not as bad as it used to be, obviously, without the Agi aura on your spirit, but you try and man fight this Terrorblade and DT just mans up somehow. And that silence, I can definitely see Paulo dying in these fights. And then it comes down to how good of a team, how good of a game that Tino and Bob have had here. They're gonna put in the tree bottom, so
No goal for you.
I guess that's okay here. You get Disruptor Tree, you can kind of put him anywhere. But I thought they kind of wanted the heals for the Slark lane. So I think this lane is kind of hard for him to just man up if he doesn't have the extra sustain. I don't see you being too aggressive on this lane with Disruptor Slark versus NS Rubik. NS is pretty good in the lanes where you can kind of just sit there and punch you back.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I could see a world where, like, as Slark Treant Protector against Night Stalker, you just lead seat that guy and you hit him together. what is he possibly going to do in the first 5 minutes of the game?
Okay, but not amazing. That said, you probably don't win that lane super hard regardless, so maybe it's just not worth it here. The tree's gonna do better versus Elder Titan for sure. It's pretty hard to play Elder Titan into the tree lane. He just sits there, leech seeds you during your spirit, and once more it is another lane ET cannot trade into with a trade mechanism.
It does seem to be a bit of a trend with this hero. Yeah.
Telling you, his level 1 is so bad now. It's just so bad.
Remember when he was like the strongest hero in that first 30 seconds of a lane? First blood goes to Tim's in the top lane as Shanks overextends himself a little bit. Got hit by a Void and a Fate Bolt, and it was just a little bit more damage than he was expecting, I think.
Day Stalker. Night Talker. Dying to NS level 2, that's a rough one. Because Bosku is having the early lane of his life on this hero. And it's a pretty good NS game in terms of if he gets to 2 or 3 items. Not a lot that interacts with him during BKB ult outside of Overgrowth. And Overgrowth is really nice versus hero as well as the armor, because you don't really have any way to get through those spells, but there's a limit. You can only put so much on this tree and protector here.
What about this matchup of Night Stalker versus Slark? More so outside the laning phase, but more so game-wise. I feel like I'm not certain that Night Stalker is this huge counter to the Slark. Am I wrong on that?
It definitely goes both ways. The night vision on Slark is super useful for playing the fights. If Slark gets the BKB, Scotty, this type of territory, then he can just man up with Ags and pounce the NS and start killing and force an early BKB, and then get out of dodge with a BKB or Force Staff. In that type of fight, Slark I think is pretty happy honestly in this matchup, but without that, this AoE silence is really obnoxious in a lot of the early fights. And of course, NS is a cliff walker, and I think those types of heroes can be annoying for Slark. It's honestly kind of hard to pounce these like NS Bat Rider sometimes in the fights, even though in theory you have good matchup, you can get on top of them. They're playing on the cliff and you pounce them and they walk down the cliff. Like, so what? Come fight me, bro. Oh, you can't? Oh, you use your pounces? Too bad. Oh, I don't know. These matchups are really weird. I don't mind playing Slark into NS, but I also wouldn't mind using this AoE silence to get you into that late game. That's how I view it.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad you broke it down that way, because I was like, yeah, like the AoE silence is good and stuff, but I feel like most of the time Slark beats you in lane. Maybe not in this lane for whatever reason, but I feel like most of the time you lose lane against Slark, and he has nighttime vision, so it's not like you never have that team fight advantage that I think is so crucial to Night Stalker's darkness.
And the night vision versus night vision is weird. It's really about who can for their initiation. Maybe if we look at it in that sense, like this game, you have Slark vision to set up glimpses and tiny jumps. You have NS vision to set up X. So I feel like the night vision is doing more for execration here in terms of setting the fight up, because they can just continually play around it. Whereas Bosku, he kind of just has to run in and set the fight up for himself and start smacking people. He's also going Meteor Hammer, which I understand conceptually on this hero, but I very strongly despise this item. And will despise it until it is thrown back into the trash can where it came from.
All right, so conceptually, it's a build-up item that allows Night Stalker to farm, so he'll have both regen and farming capabilities, and he'll have better tower pushing, which is something that Night Stalker does okay, but maybe not as good as some other heroes.
Yeah, which all sounds great. You're probably wondering, well, what's wrong about that? That sounds amazing. And you'd be horribly incorrect. Because it's on an item that effectively has no active in the fights.
Last hit comes in from Dino to get the first kill here in this game 2 for Execration. Once again, it does seem like Blacklist's lanes have gone pretty well at the start. I mean, Night Stalker got a kill when he probably shouldn't have, and the other two cores are top of the net worth, so... Or top of the CS and net worth.
Who's on mid for the runes here? No action, regen bottom.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Carl probably gonna have to go to base here. Feels bad to be the Admiral. But yeah, like you said, the lanes are going pretty nice for Blacklist. I feel like this looks like last game, only maybe they don't feel as pressured because the carry matchup isn't as abysmal as Anti-Mage versus Meepo. It's gotta be up there and the worst of all time.
Yeah.
Try and take down Palos here if they can get the leap block.
Yeah, they tried to stay in front of him. Not quite enough, though. Palos does a good job of sneaking his way through. But right now, this lane is pretty difficult. He's just about to hit level 5. Doesn't have his ultimate. Pull back here onto Tino. More pickoffs. Blacklist. They've reached a point. Not only did they do pretty well in their lanes, but now their lanes are set up where they are kind of killers. Between the Kunkka moving around, the Night Stalker playing against Slark, who is a long ways away from level 6. This is a good time for Blacklist to set up a nice big advantage.
They also have greedy supports in terms of playing the levels. So they can move the Kunkka around, kick the Slark out of lane. It's going to open up some space for this Rubik ET to get a lot of the levels they so desire. Another quick rotation back to mid from Carl here and looking for the lethal one.
Yeah. Gonna die again as the big hit comes out and actually didn't somehow snagged the last hit after the Tidebringer hit. Carl, so I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed at that. The supports are away. It does mean that Palos and Shanks can try and do something to Bosku, but it's just not enough. Palos' pounce and the kinetic field don't last long enough.
Early aggression just not there with how far behind the Slark is. He's just trying to get to 6, so you don't really want to play on this lane too much either. If you're Shanks here, because you're just stealing XP.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been relegated to another sacrificial disruptor game, which is okay, but not amazing. There's going to be some catch-up duty for Execration here. Maybe Tino is going to be the one to have to pull back on this Furion.
That is for certain.
Some early ult. He is level 6. Got to fight around your tiny combo and this ult. Get something going in these skirmishes, because I think you're going to give up too much map here. You just let the static pull continue. Carl making another
back, but this was just a bait. Bosku was playing pretty forward because Carl had the haste rune to make the counterplay here, and they'll get the kill on Disruptor, not the kill on Palos that they're hoping for. So props to Palos for
Blood in the way.
I think it was maybe the nighttime vision that helped him out there, but either way, just having the awareness to not get overextended and caught.
There are some fates worse than death, though. He is once again losing on a lot of XP here. This is just going to be a very slow 6 on the Slark. Very slow game for him in general, which is not exactly what you want to see if you're Execration, because you are the back in the fights.
Raven is going to go for the straight up TP out. So he didn't have Sunder, better to just TP away.
Will result in tier 1 kill for Tino, and he's going to ult and try and clear out the waves. Not even a fight happening.
He needs to die so he can get his level 6. It's just not going to happen. Well played by Blacklist, making sure the Slark didn't get a free level 6 behind him behind the tower. Good catch. And will even out the tower advantage that Execration worked so hard to get.
Just a result of how that lane went. Just playing this lane pretty well with a really kill. Debilitating Shanks. Extra XP. The hammer gonna clinch this tower that probably would have been dead without the hammer, but I'm not gonna say anything. And now you're just riding this game. You even have some triangle stacks off of Tim's. Man, Carl's leaving the Admiral's dream.
Seriously is. And now a bunch of neutral items for the boys. Stack it up one more time. Why not?
Your admiral is on board.
Yeah, you definitely stacked this right here. That's juicy.
Ooh, regen snagged away by Carlo, but of course he is giving up his life to get that small little win over Carl, and in exchange receives a big L.
This Kunkka is getting out of control. 3-0 and 2 plus stacks. This is so damn big. Very fast BKB.
That's what I've been saying. Where's the Radiance? BKB Radiance.
I actually wouldn't have minded this game with the start he's had and versus Execration's lineup. I feel like it's good versus Slark. Pretty good versus Furion in terms of the wave clear and the fights.
Yeah.
There's not, like I said, there's not a huge amount of high burst on Execration's side, so I feel like the fights are guaranteed to go long here if you're Carl. You get bowed off, which you should. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded Radiance on that.
Well, we'll see what he accomplishes with the early BKB. Tino's going the early Gleipnir, which we've seen again. Bob X'd into, well, thought maybe a stomp or maybe even an Earth Splitter. Maybe a really good setup for Elder Titan's abilities in general.
It's a good ET game. I feel like there's not a lot of background jump to worry about. He's gonna skew some of these matchups in favor for his cores. He can throw the spirit on a lot of the front line that they have between the Kunkka and the NS, so he has some protection factors. It's a decent ET game, all things considered. He has the levels, so Earth Splitter already out, lower cooldown. Smoke, that's true. They don't have a blink on the time here, you just have to run in.
And now the counter stomp. The Earth Splitter coming in. That hits on 3. Shanks is already dead. Carlo's probably gonna get caught up in this. Anybody? Any more disables? No, but they don't necessarily care that much. Get the tier 1 tower, another hammer kill. My god, this meteor hammer is just doing so much in this game.
It's slowly convincing me. That was sarcasm, huh?
Avery's humor is so dry that he has to actively say what is and is not sarcasm.
I just don't want to be confused for a hammer supporter. You know, that's a tough group if you join. Hard to get out of. It's like a cult. You just get sucked in like a meteor in a gravity well.
You're a nightmare.
To watch that fight again, I mean, that was a kind of desperate. I mean, that tower was falling soon, so I understand the very direct path that Execration took, but just trying to run up an avalanche.
Here's the big question is here. Okay, you have an amazing start for Blacklist like you did before. What are you gonna do with it? Can you use this Kunkka early BKB for anything? That's a big question. Or are you just gonna get ratted? Because I could see a world where Execration rat you beat him in this game. Like the catch is not amazing for Blacklist, man. It's okay. Sure. I mean, Bosku, sure he can ult and kill Furion once or twice, but it's not necessarily gonna just stop Tino from doing what he's doing on the map. And Slark can kill your vision with his ult. I feel like it's just gonna be another slow game from Blacklist, which is kind of what they're known for.
That should help. Yes, 100%.
So that leads me to believe that this start that looks really good for them right now might not end up meaning that much. Weird as that is to say, I just don't feel like this is the team with this type of lineup that's going to necessarily use it to close out the map, right? So
yeah, no, I get it. Blacklist has an MO for sure, and it's definitely not taking over your side of the map and closing it out. It's very much working towards a late game scenario where both Carl and Raven can
come to Radiant's bottom tower.
They're just kind of farming up as if they have 3 carries, which I guess how they play and how they think about the game. That's why they play a lot of Terror Blade.
Clear sailing now.
Just feels like you're going to give Execration a lot of space here off of what was a really good start. You could have gone snowball items and just maybe going for earlier aggressive zone control with it sticking around your wards in the Ancients, because they warded deep and then they just lost all the wards. If you look at the map, a bunch of red sentries.
Tino didn't pull the EX back in time for the Earth Splitter, but they still hit some other spells. And Tino, especially with Tim's having still holding on to the avalanche from how long does it last? 3 minutes ago. It's gonna fade away now, but a great spell to steal.
They did use NS ult, so they want to get some more map control off this. Here again, they're invading the Ancients. I would like to see them. They're gonna plant vision here and not give up. They don't have any options, so just gonna steal some farm.
And if they're gonna play for kind of a greedier style, I'm surprised. I mean, you already have Meteor Hammer, so maybe it's a little bit too much, but like the Shard on Night Stalker.
Carnage underway at Radiant's top tower.
Did he buy it, or are you saying you want to see
No,
it?
I'm surprised he didn't go for it just because.
He's taking many wounds.
Waited.
Yeah, it's flying out. That's what I was asking.
Oh, well, okay. He went the Ogre Axe and then the Shard. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's also weird. Do you want to fight? Do you want to farm and scale? I mean, the Shard's not bad on this hero. It scales too. And I guess they're just grouping up the push.
Dire's bottom tower is
Why
under
not?
attack.
Free little tower. The lineup is very strong in the final 5. I'd say it's stronger between ET and Kunkka, especially in early fights.
It turns out
Execration kind of want to give it to him.
it will fall.
Taking around inside, getting the pick off on Bosku would be a really nice start, but they don't quite have the damage. The Overgrowth doesn't get Bosku. Tino's going to try for it now by himself. Bosku going back in with the silence. That was crazy. Okay, well.
That was a Bosku play.
Was he
Did
was he
get
glimpsed back?
Yeah, he did get glimpsed back.
Oh, okay,
there. I don't think he can live. And I mean, the funny thing about that fight is Tim stole Fury on DP and just TP'd out.
Nice. That's a nice one.
That was Fury on Ags, so that was like the first fight with Fury on Ags as well. So you got some extra roots. Overall, not amazing, but you'll still take it. And of course, Tiny Blink, getting you a big core initiation. I'm gonna put execution I'm looking for. They get the regain their triangle control, push some lanes in. Damage on for Raven. Continuing with it as Carl finds another soul to add to Davy Jones' locker. And he is having a very solid game.
Much like Cordor before Axe's axe, Dyer's top tower.
Gonna go Hex Halberd next.
Pretty nice. I mean, that's where you go the Radiant's Halberd. Think of how amazing that would be in these fights. The double evasion. Like, you need BKB this game?
Plus BKB. No, you really don't, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
like, the one thing it stops is getting glimpsed back. I think that's the biggest thing.
The X that, though.
Static Storm.
I think Static Storm is the one reason here. I think that does give Execration an easy way if he ultimately had Radiance, you just combo Static Storm him into turning around. Do you have the to bail that out? You have a Rubik Shard you can pick up later. Like, you have Static Storm stations. Could have been interesting. Well, I'll never blame a core for going DD. Say that.
That's true. Never BKB shame your cores. Just be thankful they went the item at all.
Thankfully you have this moment with them in time.
Carlo is going to be caught with a Spirit Giving Vision. Carl gets close enough to hit the X, and Carlo will be brought low by the Night Stalker.
The night cometh with a hammer of justice.
It does kind of feel like Blacklist. Oh, nice grab there, Bob. With the high ground toss back onto Carl. That's going to force him to use his BKB. He's actually going to go for the kill on a bot here with the X-Bow. And now the Night Stalker coming in. Bob is actually going to die, and Palos barely gets away. Fortunately, the glimpse sent the Night Stalker back, and so the crippling fear ran out, and Palos was able to get off his Shadow Dance. Otherwise, that would have been 2 core pickoffs. Either way, just the Tiny Dead by itself is enough for Blacklist to head into the Roshan.
Good fight. Exactly where you want to fight too. Around your vision. They set up for you, but it's near the road pit. So you just get the transition off the back end of that meta. And NSL. Super nice game for the Blacklist here. And you kind of got to respect that beat with your Execration. You can't really overextend on this Kunko on the jump. You're not going to have you're just giving him an initiation instead of the other way around. I don't really like that play from Execration here. Really soft poking it. Another thing about the Elder Titan in this game is you have the extra wake damage now.
Just what I needed.
$250 wake up damage threshold.
It's a lot.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Teleporting out. Void's gonna stop him. Crippling Silence is also there. I'm honestly, there's a whole host of abilities, and he's gonna get meteor hammered in the corner. Damn. Meanwhile, though, AU gets low, but Palos Overgrowth goes out short. They have a bullet, though. They try to send him, but still not enough. The living armor's gonna go down. Bob will finish him off with the haste rune that he's still rocking. He needs to use that haste rune to skedaddle, though. Doesn't have a TP out for another 8 seconds, so he's just gonna hope, wait, and pray. And Blacklist don't find him here in the corner.
It is daytime. He has that going for him. Definitely don't think he's still here. Gucci. That's pretty nice overgrowth. Only you're getting 1 kill off this fight during daytime. I don't think it's enough here for your Execration.
Yeah, he's stuck at the crippling fear. Slark is dead. This is looking really bad. I mean, Blacklist, we talked about how, you know, They're not necessarily the team to choke you out, but they are kind of doing that. They're doing a pretty prolific job, mostly Carl, I would say, of moving around side to side, from side lane to side lane, catching heroes, killing them, and keeping the lane and the map just generally dark for Execration.
Carl is definitely carrying this game.
Yeah.
He is just putting the fights on his back, taking the power lanes, on his lane. Can't really ask more from a mid Kunkka here. And I think it's also why Blacklist just love this terrible.
Tower is under
You end up in
attack.
these games where you're kind of just farming into.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He counteracts Fury on that.
Dire structures are fortified.
On top of Raven.
Super fortified. Hides behind their
You
mighty
mentioned Raven went at
Dire's
BKB.
top tower is under attack.
This is a very early game-minded progression. This is kind of like, you know, ending the game now, sort of.
Has come to Radiant's
Prospect onto the Rubik. That's a decent opening with the avalanche over the top. That's okay, but the double BKBs go out with the overgrowth, allowing Execration to be able to reset a little bit, and they got the kill on Tims without losing anybody. Not bad. Can they get more? After all, it's daytime. Might as well go for it. Missed the avalanche, but still got the toss back onto the Terrorblade here. He has Aegis for 2 minutes, though. Was this really the target you were hoping for? Execration quickly realizing that this was not
The hammer.
and got canceled. Oh, we got canceled. The X into hammer play doesn't work out, but still, they got the tiny. Only Execration could have found a better follow-up initiation than the Terrorblade, I guess.
Hey, that was not the target to jump. Honestly, I feel like Execration are just. They're not sure who they want to jump in these fights. Maybe just take the gameplay they can get, assuming it's good, but I don't think that's true because if you don't jump the supports, these are really strong backline supports. They're gonna wreck you in the fight. If you're clumping on a toss initiation, you're gonna get 3 or 4 man stomp. You're gonna get fade bolted with some stolen spell, an avalanche or something. And these are the heroes that are gonna win Blacklist the fights. They're up. I think you have to find the backline here of your Execration. But these overgrowths are super nice, but you don't have the Slark items to just stick in the man fight, at least yet.
No. Also, no Aghanim Scepter for Slark in this game. I understand he needs an early BKB, but he's not even queuing up the at this point.
Well, maybe debating it. I think you do get it here at some point, but there's a lot he wants right now. They do have ways to play around him not having eggs between glimpse and some sprout later on, but it does just kind of feel weird to play this hero without him.
A gift
Feel a bit clunky. You got the one little pounce and that's it.
If he doesn't go Axe, I would like to see, I think, Scotty straight up.
Scotty's nice. The problem here is you're facing triple BKB from Blacklist, and you can just go Butterfly on Terrorblade and nothing. Which is what Raven's eye.
Much like
You're talking about the fast progression of Terrorblade. This is the ultimate fast progression. Early BKB into early Butterfly before enemy carries into the MKB. What are you gonna do this year? I don't think you have the magic force to deal with her. It's just a single tiny combo. That's it. Everything else is right click here. So are you gonna be able to combat this Butterfly Terrorblade with BKB?
Oh, they got him.
Second.
They got him just before the blinks, so the X back full on to Bob is guaranteed kill. Now it's nighttime once again with no tiny. You're talking about going and, you know, doing what you can with the Butterfly. This nighttime is gonna set them up for that, I think.
Non-contestable here. You don't have the network here. Your tiny's too far behind. Rat the map. That's a prayer. That's a prayer here. Push is coming
Dire's
fast.
middle tower is not what it
Maybe
used
next
to
3
be.
or 4 minutes here,
Dire's
you're looking at high ground
can
with your
take all the
Blacklist.
hurt.
Especially if you can
Radiant
finish
cares
VC on
that
Carl.
on it.
At that point, you're just
Dire's
invincible.
middle tower
Physical.
is under attack.
Maybe Execration looking to stall out the time and try and take some engagement here.
Trying to stop Raven, but yeah, there's no damage whatsoever. They're just gonna get caught by the X. Execration. Tino gonna be safe from a guard that was picked up by Palos. They're gonna pull him out of it with that tidal wave. Static Storm looked okay, but There's just golden heroes everywhere. 3 BKBs going off the hammer onto Shen. That'll show him Bob. He tried to go in from behind to be able to catch some of the supports, but just gets spotted by the Night Stalker with Dark Ascension. And okay, let's go high ground. I need for a butterfly.
Yeah, that's at 3 or 4 minutes. It was more like 3 or 4 seconds. Just gave him the fight here in a triple TK, and they're getting an Omega punish. He got slept on this as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have to use BKB and pounce away, I think.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Anyway, to fight this up, Clark, and this early lineup just causing problems for expiration based off the start that couldn't go terribly now. Please whack the damage. I mean, lost you pile driving your disruptor with hammer. That's rough.
He's having way too much fun with this X marks the spot setup.
Holy, saved the
Alright, the melee barracks survives.
They have tree armor.
Unexpected.
Double damage.
Gonna heal faster than normal.
Well, either way, I guess the more important thing for a Blacklist is that they don't overextend, lose a fight, and then maybe it's a really fast Roshan. It's not. It ends up being a long, 3-minute long Roshan, so we'll check in on that Roche pit in a little while.
I actually agree. Not overextending there is very important. This Rax does not matter in this game. Next Roshan matters. Taking fights with your BKBs up, because you start feeding away kills, suddenly this glimpse is going to punish you really hard. You're going to teleport and tossbacks. So I kind of agree with that.
Forcing the BKB, and then say you don't get out in time, then you get glimpse back. Oh.
It gets really weird. You lose a lot of map. That Roche can spawn. So I agree. There's no reason to risk the game for a melee. That's going to finish up the AC on Carl. That's just huge. It's going to be brutal in these fights to try and punch through that. Butterfly coming out soon for Raven. Basically here, orange or gold. You got an MKB sitting with Pulse that I don't see because
Dire's top tower is under
They got the
attack.
Aghanim Scepter on Bob. That works. Not that it really works without any damage behind it. He doesn't have a Crystal CX yet, but
sure it works.
I mean, at least it goes through evasion. That.
Straight into the 50 armor this Terrorblade's gonna have.
Yeah. It's not looking so hot. Well, at least Bob knows that they're gonna have to stall this one up long gone. And we'll see whether or not Blacklist are actually able to close out the game, which they're looking likely they can with this butterfly and second Roche.
Radiant hides behind their fortification. Radiant's
What is
bottom
with
tower
carry
is
players who
under
just never
attack.
throwing away?
It might.
Your nightmare continues.
The trash, get rid of it. What is this mentality? It's ultimate hoarder, man. It's hoarders. That's what it is.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on.
Dota players hoard everything. They don't want to give it up. They're carries. They're greedy. Like, I could sell this for 7.
Well, I mean, you know, every carry gets, you know, they get highlighted for their efficiency. Oh man, his farming patterns are so good. Oh, look at his GPM, it's so high, highest net worth in 20 minutes in history. That's just incredible. You know, like when you start getting into that mindset, that's what success is. Then, you know.
Okay, but then sell it. Why are you carrying it around?
He hasn't been to a shop yet, and if he goes out of his way to go, if he goes out of a way to go to his shop, then he'll miss out on CS efficiency. You're part of the problem. You just want to throw things away. We have way too much of that in our society nowadays, Avery.
Turn to the Radiant. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm saying.
All right, he dropped it.
Sell it at
You
the
happy
shop.
now?
Yes.
You happy now? He dropped it. He dropped it, and
Radiant's
Tino killed
bottom
it.
tower is
Good,
under
with this tree.
attack.
Good. You know what? I kill those items too when they're on the ground. My teammate drops it, I kill that. Prevent this scandalous type of behavior.
So when your team tries to grief, you're ahead of them.
Exactly. I'm always 2 steps ahead.
You're not griefing me. I'm griefing you. Toss back. Okay. On to Carl.
Saving overgrowth.
This is the guy with the AC, the BKB, but he doesn't want to use it. Now he uses it, but he's still stuck inside the sprout. Finally gets through. Raven is still the big bad boss of this push, though, and they haven't dealt with him yet. Shanks, another 5 seconds, another toss back, this time out of Tim's. They're going to pop the Dark Ascension, they'll fight for this one. Telekinesis onto the tree and Protector. They go for the kill, they get that one. Palo dashed him. Need to reset a little bit here. Another glimpse back, and the Night Stalker, caught by the overgrowth of Yeety. BKBs go out from Blacklist, though. What a good sunder, a beautiful one. His mom tried to go for yet another toss back. Time and time he was getting it, but that time didn't work out, and he just gave Raven full health.
Yeah, if they could have kept Kunkka deeper in that base off that initial toss, some sprout or anything, just give me an overgrowth. Right, they're still gonna try to clean it up here. Getting some stacks on Paolo still.
Yeah, no meta. They can't let him go. Even if he has Aegis, they cannot afford for Blacklist to be able to reset for free off this one. Second life.
No BKBs here.
No BKB, no meta. Hold him in place. Kinetic field, just play it slow. Execration can win this if they just play it slow. Palace needs to be careful not to die. Nice toss back Avalanche. That's a pretty good combo. Raven has a first here, but he doesn't have any target except for an ally. And he does use it to be able to go back up the full health. Out of stuns? No way! They just TP right in front of Execration's faces. How the hell is all Blacklist gonna get away? Almost all of them. Tim's. Oh no, he's teleporting! Okay, he's it. He's got it. He's not getting out of it.
Top tower is
Only
under
so many
attack.
Houdinis in the world. Can't all escape from the chest. I can't believe Raven gets out of there, man. I thought for sure he's dead.
Radiant's top tower is under
over and
attack.
over and over. But just overlap the stuns and big Sunder save. Thank you, medic. Call you again soon.
Yeah, you, the one who got sundered, was able to just run out of the team fight too. He didn't even die for it. Aghanim Scepter now done on Palos, so the next time that happens, Palos will have more disables to stop these things, but
Also start stealing more Agi. Because he needs better stacks in this game. He's having issues getting stacks in the fight. He can't really man up too easily, and there's a bunch of evasion he has to deal with. Tough. You need the stacks on Slark to start winning this fight. Fight your Execration. There's no way around. The other 2 cores are not carrying.
We're
They don't have
sailing
enough
now.
damage to pierce armor that Blacklist still have. This likely means next Roshan is going to Blacklist because they can just save Dark Ascension for you. And I don't see you contesting this Dark Ascension. Bosku is pretty strong between and a Hyperstone. Gotti finished for Raven now, and Radiance
Not so far has come to Radiant's
Nice,
bottom
there it is.
sounds
tower.
like he was listening to the cast, you know?
Radiant's bottom tower
10
has
minutes
been
ago,
laid low.
Carl's like, you know what,
Radiant's
Avery
middle
said I should have
tower
gone
is under
Radiance.
attack.
I'm not
I'm gonna build it now, guys.
Just like
Great
that.
players just think alike, you know? And he's
The
got
red
Elven
mist
Tunic on
spreads
top of it, so he
at
has
Radiant's middle
a
tower.
lot of evasion.
Heaven
It's
or
hard to
hell.
get the stacks. You get hit here to get stacks. It's all hit your team.
That was Raven's idea with the Sunder anyway. Tino gonna be blasted. Didn't have, oh, no, they do have detection. There's a gem up there. Bosku, but they couldn't really target the H-Prop quite as well as they want. Right now, Palos is in pretty deep here. Trying
That's a good stall.
Stalled up again by the Sunder. Hitting the backline heroes, but it's stopped the Zork as well. So Zork's not even getting anything done while the team is being so. He comes in through now, but he gets blocked out with the bounce, and that is just game over. That Blacklist. I mean, they got Nico in game 1, but you know, we both kind of agreed that was a drafting win for Execration. When it came to execution, definitely feels like Blacklist, at least right now in this series, is ahead of Execration.
Execration don't really have any of that, right? They have some